Welcome back to the channel. Here we go again. We've done so much travelling in the last few weeks. We don't know where we are, whether we're coming or going, and you maybe don't either. So here's a quick recap. As this was as close as we were going to get to motorcycling, we jumped on the good ship Navamag and headed off down the Chilean canals. If you want a close look at the route, hit pause. Once we finally got off the Navamag, we spotted this Ocean Cruising Club boat. Gaia went along and had a chat. Then we got on a bus and we headed for the Straits of Magellan, jumped on a ferry, crossed over, and...
So I don't think we fared in Magellan would have had a cappuccino crossing the Straits of Magellan.
Bus trip up through the mountains and finally into Ushuaia. About 4 cruise ships a day in Ushuaia, but as I said before, wild horses wouldn't get me in a cruise ship. The Beagle Channel, looking over towards Puerto Williams, where we had planned to get a beer on the McAlvey, riding our motorcycle across there, and then getting to the true end of the world. But guess what? The ferries were off. I have been wittering on a bit about how it looks very Scottish, but this is a dead ringer for Fort William. All sports shops, bars and cafes. Fort William just doesn't have penguins. And if you look closely, you can see the ski resort up there. Long way to come for a ski. Unless you live in Ushuaia, I expect. So, like most cruisers down by the ocean, we cast around looking for the boats, see what was viable to come down here. Here's a 35-foot plastic fantastic. We then met Barry, another Ocean Cruising Club boat, a nice Passoa 50. Then we went for a walk to the end of the world. Should have been on a motorbike, but Shanks's pony had to do. I just saw this sign, and it's the tiny spark of an idea. Wonder if we could sell that at home. Remember I said wild horses wouldn't get me on a cruise ship? Well, I'm afraid they did. Not this one, that's far too big. Not this one, that's far too grey. Ooh, what about this little one? Well, I never thought you'd get me on a cruise ship. Guess who got the bedroom next to the anchor locker? But it was cheap. There you go, just like Time Bandit. And with the amount of food on offer, there was only one way we were getting off this boat. We made our way through the channels and we went out to Cape Horn, can you believe? Didn't go round it, just stopped at it. And just as well we weren't on Navionics, because otherwise we'd have been halfway up the mountains. A few years ago we used to go to the mountains, and over the years I got higher and higher, even had some hair, and quite liked our time in the snow as well. But altogether, the health and safety on these boats, the cruise ship, was all a bit much. Life jackets, that kind of made sense, given the water was about 0. But I mean, traffic cones to make sure you walked on the safe bit of the rock. Yuck.
There's a boat coming in, a yacht. It should be us. Maybe it will be us.
And now it's the Everest-like snail crawl to the top. 140 steps, and it's only 7 in the morning. Family legend has it, my grandfather, who ran away to sea at the age of 12, has rounded Cape Horn, I think, several times in square riggers. And as a kid, having been brought up on a diet of sailing books and global cruising books, Patagonia and Cape Horn was kind of always in my mind, but I never thought I'd end up doing it in a cruise ship. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but not quite what I'd envisaged. The desolation of Cape Horn. 200 tourists. There was a professional National Geographic photographer on the cruise ship, and you could sign up for photography classes, which I did. So hopefully these show a bit of improvement. Next day we went for another look at the glacier. It still hadn't moved. And then, a bit like Shackleton, the wind was blowing the sea ice in, so we had to get our skates on and get out of there. Some pretty big chunks of ice in there. Maybe aluminium is the way to go. Nice but sluggish. Anyway, our gallivanting was coming to an end. Time to say goodbye to Ushuaia, the southern sun, because we had things to do back at base. Not least of all, anti-foul the damn boat, which is where we'll be when you catch us next. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up and come back and see how far we've got in a few weeks, because now we're going to turn around and head back to Norfolk. Another 2,000 miles coming our way. Back and for it, as my brother would say. The boat's in Grenada, Caribbean, as are we. And starting Monday, we got to start on this. Heading back north, another 2,000 miles. Oh joy.